Welcome to TechRill. Today we are going to explore GitHub Copilot customization. Powerful ways you can make Copilot truly align to your requirements. Whether you want to enforce your coding style, add security checks, or define custom chat behavior, Copilot's customization features help you streamline your workflow while staying consistent. Let us look at 4 key customization options you can use today with real-world examples of how they help development teams. We will start with the general custom instruction using Copilot Instructions.md file, then move to the scoped instruction files, prompts, and custom chat modes. First, it is Copilot Instructions.md file. This file lives at the root of the repository. In the .github folder, it is a general always-on instruction that Copilot will consider every time you use it in that repo. Think of it as your repo's Copilot policy or style guide. Imagine a large team working on a microservices architecture. You want everyone to follow the same logging framework or error handling approach. You put those requirements in Copilot Instructions.md. Now, whenever someone uses Copilot to generate code in this repo, it knows those requirements and offers consistent suggestions. Let us take a look at how to create and use Copilot Instructions.md file in our repository. Here, under .github, we have Copilot Instructions.md file. And if you want to add a pattern, you can add it. Otherwise, specify the project's general instructions. Going to close this particular one and asking Copilot to generate an API for new contract with sample fields. As you can observe, we haven't added any context, but it's used 2 references, that is Copilot Instruction.md file, and there is a code generation instruction in the settings. These 2 are by default attached. That's the main difference with the Copilot specific instruction file and Copilot Instruction.md file. All instructions are automatically included in every chat request. And this feature is supported across all browsers and IDs that support Copilot. Use this file especially for defining general coding practices, preferred technologies, project requirements, which can be applied to all code generation tasks. Now let us move to the second option, that is a scoped instruction file, which defines specific file paths and types, and it's create one or more instruction files which will be stored under .github/instructions folder. Using the glob pattern, we can either automatically include the instruction for all requests or specific files, and it is supported only in VS Code right now. So how to use that? Go to .github and create a folder called instructions. Under that, you can start adding .NET API .instructions.md. So the extension is .instruction.md. Before that, you can specify what's the purpose of this instruction file. We normally start with the header information. Apply to. As it's a .NET API, I can use the pattern as start/start.cs. All CS file, apply this particular one. If you have multiple patterns, you can specify that again here. For example, I have another area also, CS project or solution. Just add it with a comma separation. So this case we need only for CS files, and the instructions are add some general guidelines, ensure consistent naming and everything. For this demo purpose, I'm just adding one differentiator, like explain the implementation using another language. So this will help us to differentiate whether this one is applied for a particular chat conversation or not. Let us ask Copilot to return the owner details based on location. Here we passed the context as CS file, and as it's a CS file, it's automatically added .NET API.instructions.md file. And obviously the Copilot instruction is also added, that is the generic instruction which will be part of every interaction with Copilot. Let us remove this particular one. This case, even though we added .NET API instruction, taking exactly the same example, going for a new chat, and in the owner controller, just adding this particular one. This time, if you observe, not pick the .NET API instruction, because there is no glob pattern specified that for this extension use that instruction. So it's very important to include the glob pattern. In case you are not included, you have an option to select it using add context, go to instruction. It lists down all the instruction files in our current repository. You can select a particular instruction file and add as part of your context. So going back to our scoped instruction file, remember the Copilot instruction file will be passed as part of every interactions. Scoped instruction file depends on the glob pattern defined. Either it can automatically attached with the pattern, or you can select using add context instructions and select the specific instruction file. Moving to the third way of customization, that is prompt files. Prompt files are reusable prompts, especially it's a static prompt which you can execute it. If you are planning to execute set of instructions or a detailed prompt multiple times, you can capture that as prompt files under .github/prompts. So let us go and add one prompt file. Prompts is the folder. Let us add our first prompt file as prompt.md. So the extension should be prompt.md, and specify the usage of the security or what's exactly the usage kind of thing. Okay, let us define this security prompt file. First part is the header. You can define the mode, either agent, edit or ask. And then if it is agent, you can define the tools as well. Here we are going with the edit mode, or even you can go with ask mode, and specify the description, what's the use of this particular tool, and then add some of the instruction how it needs to be executed. In our case, I have some API rules for security angle. We will be adding some security instructions for this particular prompt. Once the prompt is available, you will be able to execute by running the prompt. Either you can run by clicking on this run icon on top. There are options: run prompt in new chat or the current chat. Let us execute in a new chat. It's take this prompt completely and execute against our repository. If it is agent mode or edit mode, it may be performing some of the implementation specified as part of this prompt. Either this way you can execute, or you can go ahead and execute as / the name of the prompt file. In our case, sec is the prompt file, and enter. So this one also invoke the prompt execution. Either you can use the / command for invoking the prompt, or use the run prompt option at the top of the prompt file for executing this particular prompt. If you have some specific repetitive task, you can use prompt for customizing that. And remember, prompt files are in experimental mode, not at GA. Moving to the fourth customization, that is the custom chat mode, which we covered as part of one of our earlier videos. Especially you are defining a new mode other than ask, edit, and agent. Maybe a plan mode for read-only task breakdowns, or it can be refinement of your requirement. It's a collection. The mode is a collection of your tools, steps, and execution plan. Even you will be able to specify what kind of models you can use as part of this chat mode. For sample chat mode, refer the awesome GitHub Copilot repository, which is discussed in yesterday's short, or look at the description for more details on the awesome Copilot repo, where you can see the custom prompt instructions, scoped instruction, and the chat modes. Before closing, you will be able to configure all these custom files using the menu available on top of the chat, where you have configure prompt instruction, tool set, and modes available here. Click on configure prompt file. It will ask for whether you want a new prompt file. Click on new prompt and select the location. If it is prompts, indicating that this prompt file is applicable for this project and it's used by everyone. It's committed to your repository and shared across the team members. But if you are planning to use a prompt that is specific to a user, he can use across his project, then store it under the user data folder. So I am going with a project level prompt file. Select this one and specify the name of the prompt. It gets added automatically. And you can see this option mode. It's asking for which mode to go. Let me select edit. It provided the initial structure. There is a mode edit, and I can explain what's the output expected, the constraint, the steps needs to be followed after that. This is the easy way of creating prompt. You don't need to remember the extensions like a .prompt or .instructions. Even you don't need to remember the location of the files, which will be taken care by this configuration menu. To recap, Copilot Instructions.md, it's an always-on repo-byte guidelines for consistent style and architecture. The scoped instruction file tailored to Copilot's behavior for specific path or file types. Either you can automatically include using cloud patterns, or you can add using add context. Static prompts, reusable prompts for specialized tasks like security reviews or accessibility check or unit test creation. The fourth one, custom chat mode, adapt to the entire chat experience for planning a specific task based on your instructions, workflows, tools, and the target models. These Copilot customization options help you maintain consistency, enforce standards, and adapt AI assistants to your team's unique needs. They save time, reduce mistakes, and ensure everyone follows best practices automatically. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.